This is Guderian's Blitzkrieg 2 from MMP Games. It's part of the Operational Combat series. This is an introduction looking at the game, component-wise and everything else. First we'll have a look at the map. We're playing Typhoon campaign start 1. There's no way I'm going to complete the entire campaign. I'm just going to see if Germany can actually get to Moscow and capture it. If we look at the map, it's a big map. It's 5'4" by 4 foot. Consists of 3 standard map sizes with 3 extensions at the back where Moscow is. Maps are a standard OCS fare, but I think the sort of variable terrain and all the woods and forests and swamps and everything of Russia, it really shines here. It's a beautiful looking map. I can't see any difference. It's a thinnish paper, pretty standard OCS fare. Look at the counters. Counters, yeah, they're nice. They clip really well. This is a 2mm clip. They punch really well, unlike Blitzkrieg Legend 2, which was a nightmare. These come out really easily. To an extent, some of them fall out as you're doing things. The actual setup using the counter sheets was really, it's a huge setup. It's taken me about, I'd say about 8 hours, 10 hours to set up. But I'm clipping and blue tacking at the same time, so if you were just sort of stacking it up yourself and not clipping it, it'd be a lot quicker. Because of the way the counter sheets are done basically by type, by number, it's very easy to find out what's what. And get them on the map fairly quickly. We've got the map it doesn't have a number in each hex. Now that makes it harder to actually set up. It's easier to make mistakes where you haven't got a number in each hex, but it actually makes the maps look much better because there's not numbers everywhere. The numbers where they are very clear. Even in heavy terrain, they're not getting obscured, unlike some titles I've played. Let's think, anything else I want to say about the counters? Not really. Oh yes, how could I have missed this? There are missing counters, and when setting up Typhoon, I came across most of the missing counters in the first 5 or 6 set of instructions, so that became a bit irritating. Just beware of that. Now there's a set of PDFs on the, well, say a PDF on the actual OCS depot, which has these counters on. So I've had to make my own counters. For example, there's a couple of counters there. So I've found about 6 missing ones at the moment, but there's more because of the counter sheet PDF. You can tell there's going to be more. Now, they were included in the OCS magazine, the missing counters, and they're also in case blue. Now, I have got a copy of case blue, but there's no way I am punching anything out of that because it's perfect condition apart from not being in shrink wrap. It's just too expensive an item to even consider punching it, which is really weird. Anyway, forget case blue at the moment. Actually, you can mention case blue in the fact you can actually, if you were an absolute lunatic, you can combine this with case blue, but that would absolutely exceed my capability on the table. I'd have to use 2 rooms to do that. Now, even though I say the map's not that big, well, I say not that big, 5 foot by over 5 foot by 4 foot, there's a lot of bits and bobs that you need to sort of run the game. I sort of keep my aircraft on these sheets. I've got my supply depots and I've got my unit formation holding charts and things like that. So all in all, if you're setting everything out, it takes up a lot. And I've also got a load of charts pinned to the wall as well. One thing I'm using Terrain Effects from the third winter, which is a decent chart. The one that comes with the actual game is rubbish. It's on 2 pages and it's black and white, whereas this one's full colour and puts everything on 1 page. Okay, swinging round. Let's have a look. As the standard irritating thing about OCS is the air bases are all 1 colour, and hedgehogs are all 1 colour, things like that. I'd much prefer there's different colours for each side to make it a lot easier. Now I am using some counters from another module. Don't ask me which one, which have got colour-coded airfields, and I've got some colour-coded hedgehogs. So I've worked my way around it, but beware, if you're going to play the standard game, you're not going to get colour-coded. Another thing that colour-coding issue affects is your replacement counters, which is a single generic colour, which is not so bad when you're playing 2 sides, but on Blitzkrieg Legend, where you had to keep an eye on which side the replacements were for the Allies, there could have been 4 different nations, it becomes irritating when the counters are just 1 colour. If we look at the rules, I'm using OCS 4.3 with the which came from one of the later games. It is the stable standard rule set, which is backward compatible with all these modules. I've got other charts and things that came with an OCS magazine game, which are really good. Get them if you can get the OCS with the lose-on game in it. Get that. So it's got all these special charts, which are absolutely wonderful. Other things I'd like to say about it. Yeah, the setup book is pretty standard. It's not color-coded in any way. What it does is just list the hex and the units. But as I said, it's easy to find the units in the counter sheet. I don't have any problem with that. Full color setups are wonderful, but they're not a necessity if everything's sort of laid out on the counter sheet in a sensible way. Well, some games don't do that. The OCS 4.2 rules. I've got the colour version of these, which is the latest versions. If I can find it. Yeah, here we go, 4.3. It's got a table of contents. It's got an index. It's not a brilliant index. It's one of those ones where it's divided out up into subjects. I'd much prefer an index to be a classical index to show me where all the references are for a certain thing. If you're going to do an index by subject, let's have 2 indexes. Come on, let's get this right. The actual rules are 56 pages long, but remember this is for the entire system, so there's loads of stuff in here for all the amphibious assault, naval rules, which are just not part of this game. There's also a specific rule set here that comes with it, which gives you the game specific rules. It's quite a meaty one, this, but let's just have a look what we got there. Whoa, it's hard to do this with one hand. Yeah, so the actual rules and optional stuff are 12 pages, and then there's a lot of stuff. No, options, Soviet options. Right, so it goes to 16 pages, including a lot of optional stuff, and then there's a load of briefings and notes. So it's not as intimidating as it looks. Counter tray over there does not come with the game, or anyone asks. A criticism is it doesn't have some sheets, which I think you should have, like a sheet where you can put your dead units. I've just put them to one side, but I would prefer a sheet where I can lay them out and they're easy to see. That comes with the game. What I've done with the actual game, I'm using these colour blocks in case people are interested. The red blocks highlight where, because I'm playing solo, highlights where the HQs are. The white blocks highlight where the supply dumps, which are under other counters, are located. Black blocks represent German HQs. Now I've currently got these little discs to highlight where my formation stacks are. Anything else I want to say about this? Yeah, you get a little booklet that comes with each side with your weather table, replacements, rail and sea capacities, supply tables, rebuilds. Then you've got these awful train effects things as I've talked about, and then you've got your order of arrival for each side. Like that Russian booklet obviously covers the Russians, and the Germans covers the Germans. The actual game comes with lots of scenarios. There's an introductory scenario, and there's about 8 different smaller scenarios, and then you move up into the campaigns. There's campaigns and loads of different starts. You can start all the way deep into 1942 if you want, or you even got an alternative start where you can, instead of the Germans going south to Kiev, their armour actually struck out at Moscow in sort of July. I think it starts in late July. I can't exactly remember when. I'm set up at the moment. I haven't put the air units out. I've got the German air units to one side, and I won't deploy those until I've read through the actual game specific rules, because there's often rules about where air forces can be placed off map and stuff like that, so I'll just to check that. I also haven't put the German reserve markers out yet, so if anyone comments, oh, why haven't you got anything in reserve, it's because I'm still thinking about what I'm going to do here. Right, play aids that come with the game are pretty poor. They are standard OCS paper. Now it's OCS 4.1, I believe, that's the one that comes with this game, but up until recently they're all in paper and they're printed on 2 sides, so it's partially upside, well, it is upside down on the back side. I'd prefer that to be either separate sheets or a sheet that can be just turned over and has it's the same side up on each side, if that makes any sense. The modern versions of OCS are much better. You're getting all this stuff on card. You're still ending up having to make things like this, but you can do without these. These just make controlling what's going on so much easier. So you don't have to rummage through stacks to find out what units are there, and these generic dump things. this makes it massively easy to record you where all your dumps are. But obviously, if you're playing this opposed, you wouldn't want something like this, or if you did have it, you'd keep it well hidden from your opponent. Right, the next video we'll have a look at this particular battle, which is quite a controversial one again. I don't think I have anything else to say, and it's getting a long video this, so there we go.